Hello? 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 YouTube, what up? How is it going? Welcome. Oh my. What's not on? This is not on. Oh, light on. Unpolished, unprepared gecko always. What's up, dudes and ladies? How's it going? Welcome to the quarterfinals. It is quarterfinals Sunday, and we have a bunch of matches going on. Well, actually 3 matches going on at the same exact time. Now, here's the deal. Here's the pickle. Here is the scenario. There are other content creators out there casting pretty much every single match and their grandma. But we all know which one is the one match that everybody is like focused all their energy on, and that is TR against Song. That is the match of the week. That's the match that everybody and their grandma put a ton of coins on. And yeah, that's the anticipated one to look at. We are going to watch OneV against C9N, which seemed to be extremely one-sided by the opinion of the folks doing Osiris League bets. And we were not about that life at all. Well, on this account, we actually didn't place a single bet. That is true. But if we take a quick peek on the big account, which is the account that's actually been doing this, we have a big boy bet on C9N. We have 3,000 Oryx on C9N. We have 5,000 Oryx on 1008. And we have 2,000 Oryx on TR for the S's and G's, because there is a dream, and the dream is for Mr. Bunny, aka, well, Bunny, has to turn the rabbit on today to make it to the next stage. But we're not going to focus on that at all. There's other content creators focusing on that. We are going to focus today on OneV against C9N. OneV, a Korean alliance and a Korean kingdom in 34. These guys migrated into 34 to fight against the top tier of Osiris League, and they're about to face one of those names, C9N. C9N have been here in this particular seat every single season. These guys have made the top 32, and they've made beyond better runs, awesome runs in Osiris League for 3 seasons now, and for the 4th season in a row, they're out here, and they're about to face one of the bigger newcomers, and one of those that people are putting in potentially in the final as an option, although they're going to have to go through a couple of extra hurdles to get there. But I mean, we're going to take a look at this match. I think that this is going to be such a much closer match than people think it's going to be. I have a dream, and that is to empty out the Oryx shop, and we might do that today with the help of some of these underdogs that are not necessarily these small underdogs that people think they are. We have a couple of things to go over for today's second match. Obviously, we have my boys in Kingdom 2, UCS against 374, a match we cannot avoid but cast. And it's been an interesting one. I can tell you all that UCS are taking this extremely seriously. And this is not a joke. This is not a drill. I mean, this run is for real. And these guys are also runner-ups to what can potentially be a very, very good final. UCS versus OneV for the final spot in the semifinals, or C9N against UCS. Is 374 going to have any hope at making it to the semifinals? And some of my folks from JWM2 taste the semifinal taste yet again, maybe, as 374 are working their way through UCS later today. On the other side, TR against Song, JST against 108. JST, another team that came in strong, and they're doing really good, except that neither JST nor OneV have felt the pressure of a very strong veteran team with a lot of experience. 108 is exactly that. They're gonna both meet the barrier into the top tier of Osiris League, because so far, there's no disrespect intended towards any team that played against them before, but they have not faced a team that has been in this kind of a scenario before, and they haven't been there either. And so, well, OneV had a great run last season. This is going to be super exciting. Let's get into the match. The big boy match is upon us. Let's get a drink as we see both teams and start it off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Osiris League Season 4. What would this be? Quarterfinals. 1v against C9N. The 1v crew on the screen right there. C9N in here as well. Shout out to my man sending it yet again into the playoffs of Osiris League. Once more, the veterans are here to try to claim a top 4 situation at that point. Well, top 8 situation. But anyway, 1V's team comprised of a bunch of these different new players that nobody necessarily has seen before, or if you haven't followed the previous realms, they were in the second realm in last season, they were in the second realm. Send and company, part of the Realm of Horus from the beginning. The Osiris Temple is here. Here is the road that both these teams had to get through. 1v eliminated OV last week. That's right. We watched that here, and C9N defeated 114K to get here as well. And now, here we go. The match is on, and if you've never seen Ark of Osiris matches, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you guys a quick rundown of what you're about to spectate in the next 56 minutes as Osiris League quarterfinals are about to head off. And here we go. Osiris League is a game mode where you have a completely different map. As you're seeing right here, 2 teams, 30 versus 30, are fighting for whoever has the most points at the end of the match. The way you gain points is 3 simple ways. You occupy buildings on the map to get points every single minute you've occupied the building. You provision or gather caravans on the field, which are these little tiles that you can get points from, and you conquer and win the Ark of Osiris battle at the Temple of Osiris and secure the Ark of Osiris to get a huge sum of points. We'll talk about that further in the match. All you need to know right now is both these teams have the exact mirrored map right across the center, where you can see both teams have a Shrine of War at the top and at the bottom, a Desert Altar at the bottom and at the top, 2 obelisks on each side. The whole thing is mirrored, which means both teams are going to aim for the same buildings at the same time, and then it is time for them to later on to go fight for their opposition's buildings. The line is drawn across the Temple of Osiris, and here we go. In 7 seconds, both teams are going to be able to come out and try to start occupying the outpost of Seth and Iset, as well as the obelisks. These are the first buildings the teams target, and we'll explain to you why in a second as the gates open up. Here we go. C9N start sending their T1 cavalries out to the field because it is time to start getting buildings and getting buildings quick. While that's going on, the folks in 1V are pouring out. We have provisionals already coming out the gate, and so we have the T1s flying towards buildings, the T4s, T5s out onto the field. From here, here's the thing. For the next 4.5 minutes, the only building that is going to be available for occupation are the outpost of Seth and Iset and the obelisks. The mission at the first 5 minutes of the match is to secure the obelisks, which are the teleport center buildings. Once you've occupied an obelisk long enough, you'll be able to teleport out here, your cities out into this area. What we've seen right there was hard push being used by 1V. They did that in order to occupy buildings quicker by a minute. So C9N doing the same thing. You can see the outpost occupation is now at 2 minutes on this side and at 2 minutes on that side as well. Both of these teams are now racing to occupy these buildings first, and then once the teleports are available, they are going to teleport out from the starting zone all the way back here into the field around the obelisks. Teleports are available periodically, which is why you really want to hold on to the obelisks in the early stage of the game for at least the first 15 to 20 minutes to get as many teleports as your team is going to need in order to teleport out and have everybody on the field. In the beginning of this match, the team in red is doing a little bit better occupying buildings. They've already occupied 2 of their outposts, and now the second obelisk being occupied as well by the team in red. The team in blue has yet to occupy a single obelisk. They have a few folks marching that way, and that top obelisk is now secured, but that slight difference in time means that the team in red is going to occupy their obelisks first and everything else first, and therefore they'll start generating points quicker. And so a slight beginning, a little bit of a mistake right there, slight issue, but not something big. This is usually something you recover from very easy, except that the blue team has yet to occupy. They finally occupy their final outpost, and those are not that big of a deal points. You'll maybe see a 200-point difference in this whole scenario. But still, nonetheless, these are slight mistakes that can be problematic in a very, very close match. So now all the buildings, except for the red team here also, C9N completely missing out on an outpost. That'll actually even things out a little bit more. Now that everything is kind of secured, we're going to go look at where the marches are headed. What's the next steps for each of these teams as they start heading forward. There's the Ethelfled-led rally breaking apart right here for the Desert Altar, and these are all, by the looks of it, all archers coming in for the building defense. While that's happening, the Shrine of War is being surrounded a little bit by red marches, a lot of cavalries, but there's also blue marches already posturing forward in here. The Sky Altar seems to be fairly abandoned. Shrine of Life looking all right, just empty there for now. The Desert Altar of the red team is getting aggressed on a little bit by the blue team. This is early stage occupation of territory. The blue team is pouring in though, and they're about to pour in very, very hard. Turn up your volume? What do you mean? I'm as loud as I'm usually. But anyway, the folks in blue are pushing in. C9N are about to feel that first taste of the 1v pressure. These guys are known to cause a lot of early stage pressure in this game and maintain themselves on the driver's seat as to who paces what. But look at C9N. C9N brought a ton of cavalry, and they're sitting here and they're standing by. They know what they're about to do. They want to get that first occupation bonus for every other building. If you don't know what I'm talking about, every building you occupy for the first time is going to give you a free first occupation bonus. In the case of the Desert Altar, there's 750 points. And now it's time to talk for a moment about points per minute, because these teams are going to start accruing them. As you can see right here, the team in red and in blue are earning 130 points every single minute. That is because of the buildings they occupy. Each building has a different value in the points per minute game. The Desert Altar is 150 points every single minute, and you can see the points per minute values on the map as we continue to cast. This is a critical move. The first Desert Altar occupation is important, and the team in blue is pushing hard. The team in red should be doing the same at the top, but they are grouping in so far. They're not pushing just yet. The team in blue is, though. The team in blue is aggressive on this Desert Altar, and they don't want to let the red team grab their own building for the first time. 4 seconds until the buildings open up. Here we go. First occupations of buildings are in progress, and blue team take the Desert Altar. That is supposed to be red as they wanted. They pick up 3 Desert Altars in the beginning, their own altar, their own 2 Desert Altars, and a Sky Altar. 3 total altars for the team in blue. Buildings in red occupied semi-successfully. There's 1 Desert Altar they really want to fight for, but the team in blue is not going to let that go. They're going to pressure now hard. For the team in blue, right now, the name of the game is they're trying to secure 750 points worth of occupation, first occupation bonus, and the team in red need to now react to this scenario. Unfortunately for the team in red, they were posturing towards fighting in the top Desert Altar, but it took them too long. They now have a huge group in here that's not doing anything. They're now getting pushed by 1V in blue, and 1V are doing exactly what we feared them to be able to do best, and that is put the pressure and keep the pressure going. The red team picks up their own Desert Altar successfully among all of this blue sea of marches. So a little bit of a hiccup by 1V, who were just complimenting about putting on the pressure, but with all this blue presence, still somehow managed to lose control of the Desert Altar. And this is good news for the team in red, because they've now reset the clock on the Desert Altar. They now know that even if they lose it, there's going to be another 2 minutes worth of occupation that the team in blue needs to go through, which means they have a little bit more time to re-secure this building properly. It is going to go back down to the blue team, but this will give enough time for the red team to be able to rebuild really quickly and get in here in time with a rally, with a swarm, whatever it is. But they are still under the gun of the blue team, who took them pretty hard. And then the blue team also came up here. The folks in 1V are doing massive work, trying to at least, against this cloud of marches that C9N had here from the beginning. And I mean, they pushed into them, and at this point, the C9N marches are just fighting in the open field for no real reason, because the Desert Altar is successfully occupied by 1V, and the points per minute game shifts drastically in favor of 1V, who also now own the 3rd altar, and they're about to conquer that as well. For now, The folks in 1V are 210 points every single minute in their favor, and they are in the lead by about 900 points. Not a good start for C9N, who really need to stabilize grabbing back this desert altar, but they might not have enough time. A minute remaining on the clock for that first occupation. While that's going on, there is a fight on the sky altar, and it's looking strong, but the sky altar has occupied in favor of 1V, but C9N are about to take this building away from 1V. And this could cause some pressure on the points per minute game, which is what C9N really need. C9N need to pump the brakes. They need to stop the gain by the blue team, and they're about to do just that. C9N Sky Altar take. That is what they needed, but they're about to lose the first occupation bonus on their own desert altar, which is going to cost them very, very dearly, as it's 750 points that are gonna go in favor of the blue team, and that is going to be a pretty big lead to already have to deal with early on. Taking the sky altar away from the blue team did stabilize things a little bit. They're now down to 180 points per minute worth of buildings being, oh no, and then the dagger comes in. 1V grab the obelisk away from C9N, which means C9N need to now reoccupy this really quickly and be able to come back to gain teleports. They're now going to be short on teleports, potentially. They do have 2 teleports available, and they're down 1,800 points, but this is not the start C9N was looking for. C9N got caught now with a lot of pressure on their shoulders, but these guys are experienced. These guys have been here before, and these guys are reacting extremely well. Zenobia under danger. That top desert altar is under contest, and there's a lot of red marches here. A lot of blue frownies going home, and this building is already yellow, and it's coming down. It's coming down quick. The team in C9N are also backing off this desert altar, going a little bit towards the middle, while still leaving pressure. They might still take this desert altar and send some folks to the middle. This is going to be a tight fight. C9N grabbed their own desert altar back, which is better than not, right? And now they do have the 3 altars in their favor, and the points per minute is back in their favor, 130 points every single minute. And C9N can take this desert altar still. There's still so much pressure on it. There's not enough marches on here, though. Can a little bit more damage come in here? Can 1V let this slip? They're trying their very best to stop this garrison, to stop the siege on this garrison, which looks like it's going to hold, but man, that was extremely close. While that goes down, 1V take the desert altar away from C9N yet again, and there is a little bit of defense in this building, not too much, but there is someone in here. C9N recognizing that, solo hit the building, and now they're going for a couple of extra marches in here just to get that quick swarm. There's 2 marches holding the building, and the middle is being populated. The team in blue and in red have a little bit of presence. Blue are already here. Red are starting to gather up quick. There is 2 minutes until the Ark opens up, and this is not a regular timing, ladies and gentlemen. We've been seeing folks pushing towards the Ark extremely early compared to this. This is the first time we've seen going down to 2 minutes, and people are still not even 100% here. While that's going on, C9N keep taking the building and losing it back, and taking the building and losing it back, and just taking their sweet time. They even the points per minute game, allowing the folks in blue to have 1,600 points worth of a lead at the 46th minute mark of this match. And not the end of the world. Good recovery by C9N. They're stabilizing. They're like, breathe. First Ark. Let's see what we can do in here. Start playing the building game. 45 minutes. Recalibrate. We get things done. C9N started way behind. They took a pretty big hit early on. Not a lot of teams would have been able to stabilize after losing their first occupation bonus on the desert altar, losing a obelisk, which they barely just picked up. All of these things are detrimental to a team, but C9N are capable of letting this go through. They've been here before. They've done this before. C9N, hard push. Here we go. Here come the skills by 1V. They're dropping everything in the center. C9N mystical formation. They weren't ready for all this. War drums by 1V coming out as well, and by C9N. And here we go. It's on. The middle fight. The grinder is here, but the fight is happening in the side of C9N, and that is terrible for them. They need to push this fight back. They need to get closer to the Temple of Osiris. If the Ark is popped on this side, and this 1V guy chilling here waiting is gonna pull it in his favor, that is going to be extremely hard for OneV to come back, for C9N to come out of. They need to do what these guys are doing, which is push towards the temple, not let this fall on the favor of the team in blue, and they need to now push this whole cloud back towards the Temple of Osiris. The temple is on. The Ark is here. Who picks it up? Who drops it on their favor first? The fight has made it all the way to the Temple of Osiris where the fight should have been. And here we go. Keep an eye on the frownies as I see red frownies right now going home. And there's a lot of red frownies. A lot of red frownies coming home. There was more presence here by the blue team than there was of the red. The red team still bringing in more people though. And the Ark is in their favor. And it ran a lot. It made a good distance towards the red team side. And that is exactly what they needed. The Temple of Osiris being all the way up here. And these guys marched it down. They managed to pick it up and yoink. OneV team in blue grabbing the Ark. And they're starting to dip back. They want to gain that territory they've lost back. The Ark is dipping. Nobody's hitting the Ark carrier. The Ark carrier is back to the Temple of Osiris. He pretty much carries back the Ark to the starting zone. Everything that OneV lost, they regained back with that one carry. And guess what? The grinder is on, and the grinder is on big time. OneV grinding the red team out. Look at all these red frownies. I am not seeing a single blue frownie. What is this madness? The Ark carry is here, and the Ark carry is gone. The blender was turned on, and C9N are in trouble because they have a tough time now fighting in this middle that is taking a huge beating out of them. But they're still in here. They are still fighting for this Ark, and they need to do more. Recognizing now that they're on their back foot in the middle, they need to start taking buildings. They need to start figuring out how they disrupt the fight of the team in blue. One of those ways is an obelisk hit, or well, someone tried to yoink it, but you ain't yoinking that with a one march. Not against a team like OneV, who now have the Ark, and they are gone. They're gone. And as OneV secure this Ark, C9N now have to react. They have 42 minutes to figure out what their next move is. They're down about 1,700 points and now a whole Ark. So that's 4,700 points worth of a deficit they are going to need to figure out how to gain back. In the meantime, let me give y'all a quick update as to what is going on in the other matches, because the other matches are going crazy. Temple Run against Song are going insane. 7,000, 7,000. The difference between these two teams is literally 100 points. And the Ark is in favor of the blue team, TR, who have earned that first Ark. And that'll put them a little bit in the lead. TR against Song doing big things on the second stream as well. We're keeping our eye on this match as well. And we might hop over to see what's going on out there if this match ends up being lost ahead of time. JST against 108. JST in the lead by about 1,100 points. Let's go take a quick peek at what's going on in that match, as the Ark of Osiris is also on the side of JST, which means it's kind of like this match. They're about 1,000 points less for the blue team, and both OneV and JST putting on the show. They're like, yo, remember what you said about veteran teams, Gecko? Well, we are the young blood in here, and we are that much better because they are kicking butts on both departments. But this is just the first 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Temple Run doing amazing, holding strong against Song, and the folks in C9N doing what they can to hold against the folks in 1V right now. And at the same time, we have JST going strong with the boobs going. And so here we go. We might lose all we need is one of our underdogs. One of our underdogs winning, we are secured for profit. And so hopefully we'll have a little bit more surprises in here. But for now, 1V putting so much pressure on C9N. C9N reacting well, grabbing a couple of point makers away from 1V, 2 outposts to be exact. Helps out with the points per minute even a little bit, but it does help out. 30 points per minute into the favor of the red team, who are now behind 1,500 points, plus an Ark that is not in their control. They're trying to hold on to their own desert altar for dear life. There's a massive siege going on in here. And the garrison is strong, but it needs a little bit more. It is on red territory, and there's still an open field swarm in here. This Yisan Sin looks to be holding very well. The rally was exterminated, and now the open field marches are being swooshed out one by one. defense working well for the team in red, who are going to have to show a little bit more defensive effort on the Shrine of War because it's about to get sieged, and it's getting sieged badly. There's an Edward rally in here with a big boy swarm. The rally, there's an open field march hitting the rally, and that is the correct play to make, but there's a huge swarm coming into the building, and now building defense needs to come up because the swarm is doing massive work and the rally is very, very healthy. These guys are going to need to figure out how they defend this building and get rid of this rally as quickly as possible because it is going to chum them down. Building down to red health. Shrine of War in trouble. While that's going on, the red team is actually more focused on fighting the Desert Altar up on the top that's about to get a rally plus a swarm in here. Now, the swarm needs to leave some space for the rally to hit, or else we're about to see a C9N rally rotate all around the building until it finds a spot. But while that's going on, they're about to lose their Shrine of War. Their Shrine of War is under a lot of pressure. We got to keep an eye on that as well. While they also go, look at the build, look at the rally going around. It found a spot. Here we go. Desert Altar, massive siege. There is a Archer rally, Ramses Nebu on deck against the Zenobia with a big swarm on it. 1V need to hold for dear life. They're also trying at the same time to take a Shrine of War away from the team in red, but it looks like the team in red is going to be able to stabilize this situation and defend their own building, and at the same time, they're taking away a Desert Altar from 1V. Trouble. Here we go. The red team now 230 points every single moment in their favor. They're coming back into this. They need the points. They need to close the gap. They need to force another arc and another encounter in middle, although they might not have what it takes. By the looks of it, the grinder was very strong. C9N are going to need much more presence in the middle to take away an arc from 1V. And now the question is, should a 1V not deliver this arc and go for another one? If they've won this one so successfully, what is making them hold back? Those are questions that are part of strategy that we don't necessarily know whether these guys understand that, you know, they have a superior middle or not, whether they weren't expecting a situation like this. This is a standard play. Oh no. Oh no. C9N about to pull the Cardinal Sin. If they do this, we're going to have... Okay, this guy's just trying to suicide his march. Good. Because if he's going to pick up the arc, even as a joke, that resets the timer, which means 1V are going to hold on to the arc for even longer. Yes, there are teams that do that. This guy might try to do that, though. So hopefully he doesn't pick up the arc, because if he does, that timer is going to reset, and it's going to suck for his team that are now trying to hold on to a Desert Altar to start gaining points out of their enemy's Desert Altar. They managed to hold long enough for this to still be a red building while the swarm from the blue building is coming, and now there's a swarm from the red team in here as well. They can potentially bring a garrison captain in here. They can bring more reinforcements into the building and potentially hold on to it long enough. No, they cannot. They dropped the building a few seconds before they start gaining points from it. It's still doing the job. It could have given them 150 points every single minute that they had the building, but they unfortunately couldn't hold for that much longer. They are still controlling the building territory, and they might even be able to retake it away from the blue team. But regardless, the points per minute game helped them close the gap to less than 1,000, to 1,010 points in the favor of the blue team, who also have an arc. 3,000 points, so that's a 4,000 point lead. The arc was successfully escorted, and here we go. The clock on the middle begins, and a 4,000 point lead in the favor of the blue team. The red team is in the best scenario they can be in right now. They're putting pressure and hard pressure on buildings, and they need to keep doing that. They need to put a lot more pressure into the buildings and then swing to middle and swing hard. If 1V keeps taking momentum, they keep pacing the game. They keep telling the red team when they attack and where they attack. Then there's going to be a big problem because they control the pace of the match. They control everything. But C9N starting to recognize the aggression. They're meeting the aggression early on and making sure they take care of it way, way in advance. They know what they're doing. Now that there's a rally here, they're swarming the rally quick. The rally is going to come down extremely fast, and that will secure this building pretty comfortably. And now C9N are looking a lot better on their defense. They, again, need to make sure that they secure this. Even though they are looking better, they can't just look better. They got to be better. And they're doing so by swarming this rally down. The building is taking some damage, but more marches are coming in to help save the day. Once this rally goes down, that garrison is going to be all but just, it's just going to hold, right? Just got to get rid of that Nebu Edward. And they figured that one out. They're gunning at it. The defense isn't on red territory. They got to be careful not to let that defense get wrecked, because if they lose this building after everything I just said, that's going to be very problematic, just in general, for my own commentating as well as for their own reputation as a team that knows what they're doing. They're not going to let this building come down. They're coming in after the swarms. They're making sure everything is secured, and they are refilling the building as they need to. It looks tight, but it really is not. The building is now back up to yellow. Full building, swarm secured, decent defense, and now the offense is attacking in parallel. We missed the siege on the Sky Altar. Extremely successful siege. Points per minute game again in the favor of C9N, who are now adapting and adapting hard. Sky Altar taken away. 150 points per minute for the team in red means the points per minute lead is helping the overall deficit, is helping the overall deficit. As you can see, less than 4,000 point difference in these two teams. And the fact that the team in red makes more points per minute means that gap, that lead that the blue team has, gets closer and closer and closer down to nothing as time goes on. But these teams know that the next fight is going to be in the middle. 5 minutes before the arc begins, and the blue team is already present. They're coming in, and they're coming in hard. They're doing what most of the later meta teams have been doing, and that is show up extremely early. C9N aren't early stagers for middle, and they are also adapting to this and showing up early, much earlier, and this time with much more presence. They know what they need to get done. They have their buildings secured, and they have a presence in here that costs all of these guys to shift this way instead of shift towards middle. And all this little delay that these guys now have to go around towards middle, that is exactly what C9N was trying to do. C9N trying to create diversions across the map, not allowing OneV to choose the tempo of the match, to time things. And all of these guys are now a minute or two late to where they were supposed to be at this point in time. They will make it to middle in time because it isn't that long of a march from this area all the way to the middle. It's about a 2.5 minute march. So there's time to make it here. But these kinds of distractions is what C9N should be mounting across the board. Unfortunately for them, they did not time it well enough, and OneV are now fully all in middle. This is where the team in red should, in theory, be able to grab some stuff on the sides, on the buildings and things like that if they focus on that. The problem is they're not focusing on it. I'm telling you right now, this building has one march in it, and I know it because when we fought OneV, I almost took, in this kind of a scenario, a Shrine of War by myself with my 4 marches soloing the Shrine of War. Unfortunately, a march like this one went to the Shrine of War, and then something like this went into the Shrine of War, and I was 5-6 hits away from taking that Shrine of War away from them when we played them, because they are focusing all 100% in the middle. And now, I mean, C9N are not going to get here in time. They're already diverting their whole team to the middle. And C9N, while they might have a big part of their team here, I mean, these guys have a similar presence right now, but whoever engages here is going to be in deep, deep trouble. The team in red now also bringing everything they got to the middle. A bunch of people all over the place. No buildings blinking across the board. Nobody even trying to do much. This is just straight, forget about everything else. Funnel everybody into the middle, and let's get ready to rumble. OneV trying to bait that engage down the bottom with the emoji right there, that shouts how Ark Carrier, trying to get some people to come after him, getting that quick tap, trying to pull people in for that first fight. And this is going to be the middle. Everybody's going to be here. Nothing's going on across the board. One rally being launched by the team in red, OneV and into OneV's building. But other than that, everybody is here. Everything. And now here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the first smash of the second arc. 30 minutes remaining in this match, which means there will be probably a third arc in this match. Unless crazy stuff happens and these guys exchange arcs back and forth for a little bit, we're going to start seeing the engagement happening any moment. Either team is going to proc the first set of skills and things are going to go nuts. In the meantime, one solo 1v individual going out there chilling. I mean, they're enjoying this. Here comes C9N. Here comes C9N from the bottom. Here comes the engage at the bottom side. C9N are pushing forward, and they're going in. Skills have not been procced yet by either team. Here we go. The big clash is here. There it is. To the death by OneV, and first Frowny to the death by C9N as well. Here are the skills, and these guys are going in 1 for 1 on the Frownies, 2 for 2. Oh man, a lot of blue Frownies. A lot of blue Frownies in the early stage, but I'm also seeing red Frownies, so don't get too excited about that one. OneV now dropping war drums too. Oh boy, and here we go. The frownies are starting to pile up hard for the team in red. We are seeing a lot more red frownies, but there comes some blues and a ton of red. The exchanges of frownies are looking extremely good, but it looks like the team in 1V yet again have the majority frowny, but as I say that, these frownies by both teams are so big. And while that's going on, people are standing on the sidelines like, oh my goodness, what should I be doing? Maybe I should be fighting in this big cloud like the rest of my team. A minute and 20 seconds before the Ark begins and the grinder is on. I am seeing massive red frownies going home. Massive red frownies going home. C9N. Where is the middle team? Where is the middle team? They're all crying on the way home. The blue team is just grinding the red team out. C9N in big trouble as their middle game seems to not be up to par to 1V's superiority in this area, and trouble in paradise because this 3,000 point lead can become a 6,000 point lead as the second arc of this match is coming out. And there is no red presence next to the temple. Within less than 1 minute worth of a fight, the blue team cleared the red team out of the middle altogether. And now they're pushing forward. Now they're going to clean any leftover coming in here, trying to slow things down even further for the team in red. And then they're going to push for red buildings. While that's happening, though, the red team reacting well. Sky Altar taken by Sen's rally and Sen's solo swarm by the looks of it. He's doing what he needs to do. He's disrupting the points per minute game because he realized his team is in big trouble. They're about to lose 3,500 points worth of an arc, which is terrible business. Now they're going to really need to win the buildings game and win it hard. They're going to need to start gaining points from their enemies' buildings, which is the toughest thing to do because you got to secure the building for a very long time. And then, of course, keep holding it for as long as humanly possible. A minute and a half until this building secures for the team in C9N. And I mean, they can bring marches out here to defend it, but it is going to take some time. They are about to do just that. They're going to need to defend this Sky Altar for dear life. Their luck is that 1V are still also pretty far away from their own altar. And Sen's few marches are enough in here just to hold back whatever was in here that is not fighting the Sky Altar. Instead, it's fighting Sen in the open field, giving these folks enough time to get here. They need to secure the Sky Altar. The middle is lost. The middle is all blue, and anyone who doesn't see that's going to be a blue arc is out of their minds. What C9N can do at this stage is they can delay. They can reach this guy right here and delay the arc. That's the only thing that they're praying to do right now. They want to drop the arc carrier and they want to delay the arc without restarting the timer, without picking up the arc. They just need to drop the arc, let the blue team pick it up. Drop the arc, let the blue team pick it up. While that's happening, they're coming in hard on the Desert Altar. They're not going to let this Desert Altar stay red. There's a massive presence in here by the team in red and the team in blue coming from the middle, but their marches are half weak. These are marches that are already fought in the middle, so they're going to have a little bit of trouble because there's a full-on entourage of red marches, fully healed, baby, with a Chandra Gupta Zhang Yu rally on a Zenobia with a swarm on the building, and I don't see how a 1V holds on to their own building. They're not going to be able to hold on to their own Desert Altar, which they're now 300 points per minute in the back because the Sky Altar is now ticking for points for the team in red. They managed to secure the blue building long enough for it to start giving them points. So now, even though they're losing their Desert Altar, their Shrine of War down below, if they take the Desert Altar away from 1V, that's 80 points per minute lost to 150 points per minute gained. So for the folks in 1V and C9N, this is a fantastic trade. They want to get this Desert Altar at all costs, and they have a ton of marches here. They're rotating around the building. They want to swarm the life out of this building. This building is going to go down. C9N grab it. 3,000 point deficit goes down to 2,900 points as now they're in the lead by 400 points per minute every single minute. 25 minutes remaining in this match means that those arcs are not going to be that good anymore. Those arcs are not going to be that good anymore. If the folks in C9N grab their Shrine of War back, they manage to grab their buildings back and start securing the points per minute game as they have right now, and they are about 340 points every single minute in their own favor. But if they can bring that up from 300 to the 400s and above, that's what they need. But losing their own Desert Altar is definitely not the way to go. This building was ticking for points for the team in red, and now that they lost it, they are losing their points per minute machines. For the team in blue, they have a ton of points. They have a 3,000 point lead in an arc that they held. They can deliver this arc and go for another one and no problem. For C9N, they need to figure out how they make sure they close these deficits down, because they need to make sure that they out provision and out building hold the life out of 1V, and then hope and pray that they can stop that third arc from getting delivered. Because if the third arc gets delivered by the team in blue, it's going to be very hard for C9N. C9N cannot win this middle, and I think they've recognized by now that their middle is much weaker compared to their enemies. They're going to grab their own Desert Altar back, which is good news for them. The Sky Altar is very well secured with a garrison, even though there's a swarm coming down to take this building away from the team in red. But it is ticking for points every single moment, and that is how they're still in the lead by 160 points every single minute. And they're closing down their lead, which was over 4,000 points, to now 2,600 points for the team in red. For the team in blue in the lead, are they going to deliver this arc? For them, delivering the arc is beneficial, but they will choose not to. They will hold on to the arc until the very last minute. They cannot stop another arc from coming onto the field, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way to do that. But what they can do is they can delay it as much as they want. And in this scenario, they also lost the points per minute game now on their own building, putting them down 180 points every single minute. The folks in C9N are losing their outposts, which is why they're losing a little bit of points per minute consistently. But at the same time, they're owning all the big point buildings. They took their own building back. Not everything is ticking for points just yet. They're waiting on a Shrine of War and on the Desert Altar to give them an extra 230 points every single minute. They're also sieging the top Shrine of Life, and at the same time, they're defending Desert Altars for all they can. And they know, the folks in C9N know the building game is what they need to be winning by, and they need to be winning by a lot. It's why they're putting all their eggs on the forward basket, and now they're putting the pressure onto 1V, who are not able to grab their own buildings back. Both of the altars that are not supposed to be red are red, and they are occupied, which means this wasn't an exchange. This was a point-given situation. Finally, as I say that, the Sky Altar goes back into the blue team's hands, but in the meantime, it served massively to keep the red team ahead on the points per minute game, and now they're ahead 150 points every single minute. They still own 3 altars, although their own Desert Altar is about to be sieged on very hardly. While that's going on, this Desert Altar is also taking a lot of pressure, but the points lead is down to 2,000 points. The folks in C9N are not going to let this go down without a fight. Less than 2,000 point difference in these two teams, and building game still tremendously in the favor of the red team by a mere 330 points every single minute. They are not going to let this go down. 22 minutes remaining. Plenty of time to come back from the arc, from the deficit, and then make this an even closer match. The folks in 1V in the blue team need to make a decision. When are we delivering the arc, and are we allowing a third one to come out? They should be recognizing their strength in the middle and doing so, but their plans say something else. Chat, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a quick like and hit that subscribe down below, because we're going to be doing this for the remaining of the matches in Osiris League and much more. Let me give you guys a quick update on what's going on in the other 2 matches since we're already here. Here we go. TR are behind Tesong by 3,000 points. The Temple Run are now in deficit of about 3,200 points, and they do hold an arc, though, and this is the second arc, and therefore this match is pretty much even. TR are indeed in position to potentially even out this match, but they're behind in the points per minute game by about 240 points every single minute. So TR holding the arc are kind of in the same scenario. It's pretty much the same exact scenario as in this match, except that backwards. The folks in TR are in C9N's shoes, and it is not looking very, very good, although they are holding the arc, so that's a good thing. That match is getting extremely close. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in there and much more. And the folks of 1008 are badly down. They're down about 6,000 points behind JST, who seem to have put a lot of pressure onto this match. JST also own the arc. So on top of being down 6,000 points, they're also going to lose the arc, which means more than likely that 1008 will be eliminated out of this quarterfinals. And JST telling me, hey, Gecko, you have no idea what you're talking about. They might have the experience, but we are the young bloods, and we are much, much stronger and capable. We're going to lose all of our bets. I don't know, Deepak. TR can still pull through. TR can still pull through, but we might lose our pants. Yeah. Here we go. C9N pushing forward. They're less than 1,400 points worth of a lead for the team in blue. And that lead keeps dwindling down as the team in blue now in the lead by 60 points per minute. So that's at least a little bit of a breather for the folks on the match. However, here comes the pressure yet again. The Ark still hasn't been delivered, so the timer for middle fights has not been started yet. And C9N are pushing towards the Shrine of Life at the top. OneV recognizing that, bringing forces to the open field. But I believe this is a ruse. It definitely is a ruse. While that's going on at the bottom, the Desert Altar is being aggressed at the same time, and the marches that pulled up to the Shrine of Life are now away from the Desert Altar, which is taking a massive hit. Both buildings are being hit at the same time. Marson at the same time splits the 1v defense from going both sides. Both of these, in these teams, the way these guys play is they have a big open field swarm that goes Shrine of Life, Desert Altar, Shrine of Life, Desert Altar. But if you time your attacks correctly on both ends, then they have to split to defend at the same time. And that's really how you break these teams. They don't have designated people for specific buildings. You'll notice that momentarily. These guys are either going to start rotating or putting pressure down to cause all of these guys from coming up. And so the rotations are always there. These guys would have been defending the Desert Altar if the Shrine of Life wasn't being sieged. And because it was being sieged and the Desert Altar is being defended successfully, they're now pushing forward for an attack. All of these guys will more than likely push on for an attack. Please. Okay. Push on for an attack later on. As soon as the Desert Altar is secured, you'll see all of these 1v folks going down towards the Shrine of War. Because that's kind of what they do. They rotate around the map and make sure that they keep their pressure on all sides. And listen, C9N are in huge trouble because they closed down the gap to 800 points, which is really, really, really good. But with 800 points worth of a lead, 900 points worth of a lead for the team in blue, and 3,500 points worth of an Ark, you have a problem. You need to take this lead, and you need to take this lead quickly. And so they did take the lead by a mere little bit. I'm assuming these are provisioners making it home ahead of time. And they are going to take the lead momentarily, about 1,000-point lead for the blue team. Even then, if they take this lead, they're going to need to take a big, big, big lead to force an Ark because there's 17 minutes remaining in this match. And the points per minute game is starting to be an issue because you're running out of minutes that you can get points. On top of that, 1v are doing really good defending. Although, as I say that, this siege on the Desert Altar is still going on. And there is nothing stopping these marches from continuing it, as they don't have really a reason to go home, to refresh, to get ready for the Ark, as the Ark is being held. While that's going on, 1v is doing pretty much the same thing towards the Sky Altar. And there's a big swarm coming into the Sky Altar. Big trouble for C9N. They cannot let this Sky Altar go down. If the Sky Altar goes down, that's a point per minute generating building that is extremely important. C9N cannot let this building come down, and more marches are coming in to defend it, but there is a huge blue presence here and very little red presence. They are refilling the building, which is the correct play to make, and they are defending against the rallies, a rally being swarmed and about to be destroyed. Building is in yellow, so everything seems still okay. There's marches coming in still to keep refilling it. Building in red, a little bit of trouble. This open field swarm is getting weaker, but the building is as well. The building needs a little bit more to be able to hold and allow itself to do the damage that needs to be done for a swarm to get taken down. Here comes another march into the building. It goes, or it tries to go. Edward? Anyone going into the building? Do not lose this building. C9N. C9N. I cannot see the health. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's yellow. It's yellow. Okay, they got in. They refreshed. They did what they gotta do. But they lose the Desert Altar. The Desert Altar at the bottom. C9N in big problems. 150 points in the lead for 1v. We're now over 1,000 points. Less than 1,000 points in the lead. Almost 1,000 points. But they're going to start gaining a lead again. C9N losing the points per minute game is extremely problematic. Another rally coming down towards the Desert Altar siege. Yet again, this pressure maintains by C9N, but the rally is being chummed down. There's so much open field presence by the blue team here that they're just chumming down the rally first and then going after. The single march is coming in here, and they keep coming down hard on the Sky Altar. The blue team is putting on the pressure on the Sky Altar as of right now, still here. Desert Altar being taken is good news for 1v. Terrible business for C9N, who had the ability, who closed the gap down. Gecko's Oryx are in C9N. They are. I do think that this match is still extremely open. 15 minutes remaining. The Ark is a huge problem for C9N, but there is going to be 13 minutes remaining by the time they put the Ark in, which means there is going to be an Ark. There's a middle fight still happening. And so the question is whether C9N can recognize it, take buildings, and then go for the middle, or can they delay the Ark, keep this as close as it is, and then out provision. That's everything right now. The job for C9N and to beat OneV at this scenario is to keep the gap very, very small so that they can try to out provision them. That's as far as they can go. And this is why OneV recognizes it, and they're just breaking points per minute buildings for C9N. They're not even caring what they're breaking. Look at this. They're going for a Shrine of Life. Massive swarm here. Why is that? Because they're breaking 240, 250 points away from C9N, which are keeping this extremely close. And this is how the folks in OneV are going to potentially be able to win this match. They keep focusing on the important stuff. And now, I mean, the building is giving them points. They're 300 points per minute every single minute in the favor of the team in blue, which is just bonkers. Look at how their lead goes up to 1,500 points. By this little mistake, they went from 800, 900 point lead to 1,500 point lead as the Desert Altar is still is taken by C9N. It's still not occupied, which means now it's 150 points worth of a lead every single minute for the team in blue. And that little building mistake is just detrimental for C9N's capabilities of coming back into this. And to make matters worse, they're dealing with the Sky Altar insane siege just as much as they're delivering one on the Desert Altar, but their Sky Altar is too weak. There's nobody here. People are trying to join the building, but it's too late. The building changes hands. The buildings change hands. C9N are falling apart. Ladies and gentlemen, C9N's defense is crumbling. Half of the buildings are going back to the blue team. They're putting on the pressure right before they deliver the Ark of Osiris, and a 5,200 point lead for the team in blue. And they got the points per minute game locked down with 380 points per minute in the lead for them. Even if these buildings change hands, it's gonna go down to a lot of middle fights. And here come the blue team. They're not even gonna let this building change hands again. They're just gonna keep putting people in. They know that every second that they have this building is in their favor. And now C9N have it. There's enough blue presence here to fight for it yet again. They need to delay the red team's points. They're now up almost 6,000, 5,500 points worth of a lead, but this lead is not unclosable for the record. It is not unclosable at all. One Ark is all C9N would need. One Ark. What they would also need really badly is in the next 12 minutes to lead the points per minute game and distract the life out of OneV from the middle, because this is going to be, that's going to be what makes it or breaks it. Now for OneV, the strategy can be completely backwards. They can completely give up on the middle and go take all the buildings away from OneV, from C9N, and then like essentially cause a blockade, right? Like, okay, you guys can take the Ark, but we're still going to keep winning the points per minute game. And so even when you guys close this gap by taking an Ark, we're going to keep increasing it all this time that it takes you guys. And it's pretty much, it looks like that's pretty much what OneV are saying. OneV are like, middle, important, yes. However, are we bringing everything in, or are we going to take buildings away and then make them fight for their buildings? Because that's at this point, OneV can just look at this. There's a bunch of people all over the map. For OneV to start taking all these buildings away from C9N right now and then heading towards the middle would be the final nail in the coffin. But instead, C9N are planning on doing the same thing. C9N are putting in massive pressure on this Desert Altar, and they want to take it. They know that if they take this Desert Altar, it's going to cause issues, and they're going to be able to wrap from the top towards the middle. They're planning on that. They're planning on holding on to these marches out here as much as they can. While that's going on, the swarm on the Sky Altar is back again. And OneV are not sending everything into the middle. They're going to delay C9N's points per minute, and they're going to do that yet again by occupying a Sky Altar. Ooh, that was very close. That was super, super close. Now the building is refilled. At the last moment, someone valiantly came in, but there goes the garrison captain. And I mean, now C9N just need to hold with whatever on earth they have. Just get in, keep holding the building. They cannot allow this building to go down, because that's more time being wasted on the occupation. They just need to get in here and hold. They need to get in and hold. And they know that which is what they're doing. They have to hold on to this building. We're going to keep an eye on that. While that's going on, the siege on the desert altar isn't looking too pretty. There's a swarm still hitting the building quite severely, but that swarm is very, very red. There's a few marches marching home from the siege, and so it looks like the desert altar will not be secured. While that's going on, though, the sky altar is looking decent-ish. There's marches in here coming to help with an open field swarm, but there still needs to be a defense in the building. If nothing goes into this building and it goes down, it'll be such a shame. But the swarm is being handled. A little bit of trouble for the sky altar. A little bit of trouble. It now secures for the team in red, which evens out the points per minute game for good for now. And here comes the middle fight. The middle fight happens right now. It was engaged early by OneV. They are not going to let C9N pile on. They know that this is the time that they got to put the pressure right now. They know that all they got to do is they got to delay it. They got to throw C9N off. This is OneV at their finest. They're not going to let you time it. They're coming in, and they're coming in 3 minutes ahead of the Ark, and they're coming in hard with everything they got bogged down, dropped on the field to slow down the OneV folks from coming in and reinforcing here. 3.5 minutes remaining for the record, just so you know, is enough time to make your way back here. Is definitely enough time to make your way back here. Heaven's Grace healing for OneV, and then War Drums being dropped, and C9N Frownies. The blender is on. The blender is on. The C9N Frownies are too much to bear as they go home one by one. We see one Frowny that is on the blue side and a bajillion red Frownies. Extremely, extremely problematic for C9N, who now are in deep trouble. They cannot afford to lose this Ark. For them, the luck is 26-second march home, 2 minutes and a half minute march this way. So as long as they manage to get a little bit closer and delay the Ark, new marches can make it back here to the fight. But C9N need to bring pretty much everybody and their grandma, and they need to coordinate what they're hitting, and they need to coordinate their locations, and they just need more coordination. Look at these guys up here. They're gonna get solo swarmed by folks nearby up on the top, and they don't have anyone with them to continue that swarm. These guys are getting swarmed while solo hitting from different directions. Not a good idea. C9N going in the blender and coming out. Frownies. The Frownies are all red. The Frownies are all red. C9N getting blocked in that middle fight. And what on earth are they going to do? 7 minutes remain in the match. The Ark is 2 minutes away. While that's going on, Sky Altar being sieged by Send by himself. And he knows the drill. He knows there's 1 or 2 marches here at the most. And he knows he's going to disrupt the points right there by just yoinking that really quickly. Nobody is nearby here to support this. And so this Sky Altar is an easy pickup by a 4-man squad of Send, who didn't go to the middle, but in return is about to yoink the points per minute lead for his team by himself. 150 points every single minute. Fantastic play by Send. And there goes the Sky Altar to the red team. And a little bit of a disruptor, but not enough, because the blender keeps growing. All I see is more blue marches coming in by the minute. And C9N are just incapable of stopping the damage. They're just incapable of stopping the aggression on their middle. And they are bringing in more and more and more and more marches. And it is becoming a little bit more troublesome for OneV. But this is a complete mess up of what a middle fight is, because look at this. There's people coming from all sorts of directions. There's people coming in from everywhere, and there's no one mass going towards the middle. And now everybody has to just gun it towards the Temple of Osiris. And all of these blue marches are just going to accept you and grind you down while you march down towards that middle area. But there are fresh marches back into the middle for the team in red, which is a good thing, because a lot of these blue marches are grinded down. They're fluffed down. But I'm not so sure they have enough in the tank to get this done. They do have the buildings game on their favor. They are behind, however, almost 4,500 point deficit for the team in red, who are now pushing hard towards the Temple of Osiris. Ark of Osiris is going to pop in 6-4 seconds. And once that comes down, here we go. The points per minute game is indeed in the favor of the red team by a lot at this point. Hard push being enacted. And here is the Ark pickup. Who is going to pick it up first? For C9N, they need to just delay this Ark. They need to stop 1V from grabbing the Ark. That's all they need to do. Ark carrier needs to be taken down instantly, but instead, that Ark carrier is bailing home, and it is bailing quick. There is a couple of marches hitting it, though. It's about to go down. Ark carrier down. Now, C9N need to pick up this Ark. Even if they drop it in a second, that doesn't matter. They're going to stop the team in blue from picking up the Ark. And there is an Ark carrier that picked up at the bottom ahead of the guy up the top, and that is a red carrier. So if he survives the carry, he should be able to pick it up. No, the blue team picks it up, and there is a run. There's a run for the middle. Here we go. That Ark needs to be delayed by C9N by all points. They have to stop it. They have to stop the bleeding. But a 4,000 point lead, can they close the gap? They cannot. They cannot even stop the Ark carrier from making his way out of here. 1V are telling C9N, you guys might be the old dogs. You guys might be the ones who've been here before, but we are reinventing the game. And you guys now need to take us more seriously than anyone before. The Korean kingdoms are here, and they're showing up big time. Both teams showing both the veterans of the realm of Horus how they do it and how they do it better. Because, ladies and gentlemen, while this is going on, 1008 are down 16,000 points to JST, who are coming in with a stomping victory. TR are behind 3,000 points, while 1V, as you can see, is in a pickle here, about to win this match. For the folks in Song versus TR, Song have the Ark, and they're carrying it home. If they get it in, that is going to be a big problem. They're also in the points per minute lead, and they're more than likely going to secure this Ark, which they're just gunning for in the last 3 minutes remaining. They secure an Ark. They get an 7,000 point lead, and I believe all of our Oryx are about to go bye-bye. All of our underdogs have failed us today, as JST seem to be poised to take out 108. Song is poised to take out TR, and 1V are like, not in my house. Ha ha ha. And wrecking C9N out of here with an Ark delivery on its way yet again. 3 minutes remaining in the match. I believe they're just going to go secure the Ark just to get that extra set of points, which is 4,000 points. This will put them at an 8,000 point lead in this match. C9N are now going to swarm the life out of this desert altar, and the Ark carriers just need to get in. They need to pick up the Ark and just keep dragging into the building until they get enough space to get in the building, and they're going to get in the building. Ark carrier got the Ark. Here we go. Make your way towards the desert altar while it's still clickable. You got to get in, homie. There he goes, turns towards the altar itself, comes into position to deliver the Ark, and the Ark is delivered. And with that, 7,000 point lead to the 1V crew, who are poised to be the champions of this quarterfinal, go into the semifinals. 2 Korean kingdoms, 2 Korean alliances in the top 4 of Osiris League, Realm of Horus, as we still have one more team to go. Song trying to take out TR at the very end. And then in the next hour or so, we are going to have UCS against the folks in, oh my goodness, the folks in 374. And here's the deal. I actually need to play Ark. I have an Ark match in 1 minute and 40 seconds. So we're going to get in the match on the phone, and I'm just close this stream in here and then go with them. But it's okay. I think I know what I'm doing. I'm team. Okay. Hopefully our presets are all done. All of our buffs are, all of our boosts and all of our stuff is on. I don't even know if we're doing 50%ers or not. YOLO, I'm doing a 25. If they're doing 50, I'll do a 50. And a defense boost. That's fair enough. What can be said in here for C9N? C9N had a great lead for a bit. They put the right pressure in the right places, but it just wasn't enough. When 1V pressured, C9N held back, and they held back well. But they did not react quick enough in order to get the advantage back in the control of the match. Chat, by the way, if you've enjoyed this stream, don't forget to slap that like and hit that subscribe down below, because we have one more cast coming up in an hour or so. So make sure you stick around for that. You come back when we cast that as well. If you're enjoying, again, all the content and all that, I appreciate all of you guys for chilling with us. And we're wrapping up this match, which Let me see really quickly. Which has been a good match overall. 1V doing exactly what we know they can do, and that is put insane amount of pressure. We have yet to see a team that was capable of taking away pressure from 1V and put pressure on them. Even when C9N did this type of stuff and took Sky Altars and put some pressure down, they still weren't as strong as needed to make 1V start questioning their moves. And you can see that 1V's machine has been working very solidly well. The Garrison comes in and defends very, very, very well. The few marches that made it in here made it just in time. And then defeat is here. The defeat is here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get those GGs up in the chat for the boys in C9N and the men. Ooh, we're playing against OV. What the heck? We're practicing. Did we just get matched against OV? We did. Cool. Well, with that being said, GG's to the folks in 1V. Shout out to C9N. Great run for them as they exit in the top 16. What do you know? I guess we need a 50% buffers now. Now I look a little bit like a cheapskate. I'm going to take a look at that in a second. Let's go take a look at how the matches ended. C9N going down to 1V. JST taking out 108. And Song taking out TR as the 3 of the 4 matches have been secured. The 4th one coming up in about an hour or so. I will see you guys there. But for now, I got to head on to my own match against OV, apparently. I'm Gecko. I'm out of here. Appreciate you listening to you. Slap like on this video. Hit that subscribe down below. Come back in about an hour. Don't forget to come back and hit that like, though, before you leave. All right? Take care. Have a good one. Cast your own match. Maybe now. Maybe not. Maybe not. Not today. For now, I want to chill, do this, and then prepare for another cast. Anyway, see you guys. Peace.